Hi guys, today we're going to be seeing what if the Mongol Empire reunited and kind of just formed an empire, and would there be any other nations like the USA or any other alliances that could challenge the Mongol Empire? Let's jump in right now. So the Mongol Empire, it's been reunited, and the entire world does not really care. Well, they do care, but they don't want to get on the Mongol Empire's bad side, so they decide not to stay or do much. So the Mongol Empire wants to increase its land size, if this isn't enough, apparently, and they decided to invade the weaker nations that they have kind of took some land out of. So they decide to invade the remainder of Russia, uh, this little part of Pakistan, and this little bit of Iraq at the same time. They must be quite confident. So let's jump in. So first, this frontier, I think, isn't Pakistan's capital like right there? So I don't think it's been taken, but so most of their army is still there, but they've taken for sure a hit. So what's gonna happen is I'm just gonna do this real quick. Okay. So Pakistan is able to hold off the line, except at the south, where Mongol troops begin pushing in to the remainder of southern Pakistan, and this area eventually surrenders, and they take a very influential city, if not already taken, and they continue just to go up, but eventually the Mongols are stopped to a front that looks similar to this. And they also decide to invade Iraq, the remainder of Iraq, which has been absolutely decimated. So there's not much resistance as they go because there just isn't much left. But they do encounter some resistance when they start traveling here more, and they're eventually slightly stopped, but not for long. And the remainder of Russia, it might be big and it might look good, but most of it's been taken. Their major cities like Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Vladivostok, which I think is like right there or something like that. So most of their major cities have been taken, so there isn't a lot of people here. The main reason that the Mongol Empire is invading this part is because they just want resources. So let me just do this. And they push up from here, and they decide that they're going to cut off Russia from Russia if they hadn't already. They push up from here, and they don't find much people or much resistance as they go up here, and their game plan is just make Russia want to surrender. So this part of Russia surrenders, and it's just not looking too good for the blue side over here in Russia. And the Mongols are also land on this little island somehow. They take the entire thing, and they also start attacking from the east. I almost forgot my west and east there. And now they begin their more broadened push into the remainder of Russia. And the main reason they're invading Russia is for the resources. So they finish off Iraq. They just let's just cut this short. Iraq surrenders, and it's unlikely that anything will happen. They'll be able to take their land back, even though they surrender. I don't know what I was saying there. Just ignore me. Okay, and now they decide to invade the remainder of Pakistan. They're able to break through the lines and push in from the north. And now Pakistan, it's not doing too good. After a couple of bloody battles, the capital is taken, which I think is right there, and Pakistan surrenders. Now all that's left is Russia. Now, will the Mongols be able to invade Russia? Because Russia, even if they're not a very strong country, just ask Hitler and Napoleon. So they make a little naval landing there, and they keep pushing into Western Russia. And NATO, they're kind of just like, well, you're invading our biggest threat, but at the same time, you're kind of our biggest threat. So they don't know what to think, but they just decide not to put any sanctions. They just condemn Mongolia for its expansion. And after a couple of more battles here, this part of Russia has been absolutely decimated, even though it's the summer, so the winter hasn't kicked in yet. Russia's main weapon, and the Mongols also start pushing more into here, and eventually Russia just does not want to fight. I mean, if you're Russia right now, you barely have any people right now, and you don't want your soldiers to keep dying. I think you choose to surrender. So Russia does exactly that. Let's look at this peace treaty. Yep, you guys guessed it. Full annexation. So, the Mongol Empire has fully annexed Pakistan, Iraq, and Russia. And and NATO is just really mad. They are just like, you can't be doing this, Mongolia. This is just no. So all the powers of the world, they kind of just are kind of wait. They're quite mad at Mongolia, and they start putting sanctions. And after the request of Turkey, Poland, and Romania, because a lot of land has been taken from them, and they do not like it. So what happens is more sanctions kind of go on to the Mongol Empire, and this NATO has condemning. And the economy takes a little bit of a pinch, but I mean, when you're this huge, sanctions don't really do much. So the NATO and the Mongol Empire kind of go into this Cold War for a little bit of time. And I know Finland and Sweden are not part of NATO, but I included it because they're joining. And by this time, I think they'd join. Anyway, so now the Mongol Empire is starting to make a plan to invade NATO. And a couple weeks after the sanctions, Mongolia or the Mongol Empire is ready to do just that. They begin their invasion of NATO. They continue to attack to finish off Turkey, and Turkey, Poland, and Romania. They're kind of just like to NATO. An attack on one is an attack on all, right? But NATO didn't want to risk total war. Well, total war is what you're gonna get. So eventually, Turkey is forced to surrender, and poor little Bulgaria over here, thousands, hundreds of thousands of troops flood into the area, and Bulgaria also surrenders, and Greece is beginning to be invaded. The remainder of Romania is just, yeah, just not looking too good. The Mongols invaded the rest of Romania and a little bit into Hungary, and Romania just surrenders. It's not looking too good for NATO. The Baltics are the Baltics, and they also can't do much against the onslaught of troops. Estonia is the first to fall, then Latvia falls as well, and so does Lithuania, and they all surrender. And the Mongols also begin to invade Poland, but Poland's a little bit stronger, and they kind of hold them off for a little bit. And they also make a small little invasion into Finland and Norway, just because they don't want to have to worry about this front, and they definitely do not want to worry about St. Petersburg. What happened to the border here? Oh well. So they definitely don't want to worry about St. Petersburg being taken by the Finnish. So yeah, this is what the front looks like. Sorry about that. And NATO's just like, whoa, 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 this can't be happening. So, but for until U.S. troops can land into Europe, it's gonna take a long time. So, in the meantime, NATO is being pummeled by the Mongols. Warsaw is taken, and Slovakia is also taken. Hungary is just taken, and Poland surrenders. Czechia is being attacked here. It's just being pummeled. Greece, the island of Crete, has been taken over, and Athens is taken. Despite such a strong military, Greece cannot stand up to the full might, and Albania starts to be invaded as well. Even Italy. At this point, they make a little naval landing, and they also fully control Sicily now. Albania is taken, and Eastern NATO, Eastern, is being pummeled. Finland is invaded once more, and Helsinki is taken, the capital of Finland. Finland surrenders, and they're kind of sad because they just joined NATO. Like, why did this have to happen now? And this is about as much as the Mongols are gonna get without encountering too much resistance. So after a couple of months, U.S. troops begin coming in, and the front looks something like this. It stays like this for many months until eventually NATO is able to make a breakthrough. Yeah, you know what that happened. NATO is able to make a breakthrough, and they start to push back the Mongols. They start liberating Poland and Czechia and Slovenia. Italy is able to push back the Mongols as well. They retake Sicily, and this kind of looks like World War II over here, but yes, Albania has also been liberated. And now the front is looking something more like this, and NATO is close to being liberated. Also, a lot of troops come here to liberate Finland as their new member, but nothing happens to the Baltics because they're the Baltics. So after 2 years fighting, the fronts now look like this, and NATO is able to take back Athens and liberate Greece, but they don't. But there's really high casualties, and this is kind of turned into World War III over here. Come on, just whatever. Okay, so this is as much as NATO is able to take before the Mongols are able to make a good defense, and nothing else happens. And for this year, and eventually they both meet up in Berlin to discuss a peace treaty, and they come to an agreement. So let's see what happens here. And here's the peace treaty. So the Mongols are forced to not fully take NATO, obviously, and they will have to leave Poland, Greece, and Finland alone. But the rest, is all annexed, and these countries that were annexed feel kind of betrayed. But NATO kind of had no choice, or else they probably would have been defeated. So this is the remainder of the alliance, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button. Like the Mongols destroyed all these nations. No offense to anyone, and have a good morning, afternoon, or evening. Bye.